Hey, everybody. It's Debbie here. And today it's all about Asana. Now, there's all kinds of tools and tricks and tips that I can give you about automating your business. So today I want to focus strictly on Asana. Now, if you've used Asana or you might have used Trello, I just want to start out by saying that they're similar tools. There's pros and cons with both of them. I actually use both of them depending on what it is I'm trying to accomplish. But today I just want to focus in on Asana and show you some of the things that I do with it to automate my business. So before I actually show you some things, let me just chat a little bit about what Asana is and also Trello. Basically, they are task and project management tools. So if you're trying to manage a project, so that project might be creating your online course, or maybe you're building a membership site, even a project such as setting up a system to manage your clients. All of those things are projects, and Asana and Trello, great. It doesn't matter really which one you use for that. You're going to see, though, why I love Asana as far as managing my personal to-dos, my to-dos for the business, and even personal to-dos in my home life. So when I jump in and show you that, I've got some great little tips on that. Now, starting out, one reason that I like Asana is because there's different views that you can have. So most people have heard of the Kanban or Kanban view. Basically, it's columns or a board type of view. But Asana also lets you create things by a list view. So if it's easier for you when you're creating your list of tasks to do, almost like a spreadsheet, then you can certainly set it up in that list view. And the other very powerful thing with Asana is it gives you a calendar view. And if you create tasks with dates assigned, when you look at the calendar view, you can see what's coming up. And the calendar view is an awesome way to manage like your social media planning, or if you create content that you want published at a certain time, it's great to use that. So we're going to jump in, and I'm just going to talk about some of the different ways that I use Asana. Now, before I do that, though, let me just talk about the benefits. Why would you want to use something like Asana or, again, Trello? The number one reason is it's like your central hub for your business. So you can build these boards, these projects, so that all of your information is in one place. So you don't have to be scrambling all over the place trying to keep up with everything. The other big advantage with Asana is that you can set up reoccurring tasks. So if you do something every Monday, every Wednesday, you can set up a task that will reoccur. It will show up on your task list every Monday. So you never have to worry about losing it or forgetting about it. Another great feature of Asana is it truly helps you stay focused. So as an entrepreneur, as the CEO of your business, you're wearing different hats. You have so many things that you're trying to keep up with. When you use a project and a task management tool like Asana, it helps you just to stay focused. So you know exactly what you need to work on for that day, and you don't get sidetracked and get into the weeds, so to speak. And then another great benefit of using Asana is that you can share these boards with other people. So it's a great way to manage your clients. You can have all of your client information on one board, and you and your client share that. No one else has access to it. And it's great for your client also because, again, they don't have to be looking up what are those login pieces of information, where's the rest of that document or the project plan, anything like that. So just another benefit that you can share with them, keep everything in one place. So some of the examples that I'm going to show you is how to automate your daily work so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick that I've created to help you capture all of those brainstorming ideas. You know, you're working on something and you've got this fabulous idea. What are you going to do with that information? So I'm going to show you a little hack that I have for that. I'll dive into some social media promotion ways of managing all of that, and your content creation, how you can do that. And then the last thing I'll show you is an example of how you might use Asana for your client management. So let's get going on that. I'm going to move my notes out of the way here, and let me just share my screen here. And then what you should be seeing here is the home base of Asana. I'm just going to move the screen out of the way so that you can see the big screen here. Okay, so if you've never used Asana, when you get into it, over on the left, basically are the it's your control center for Asana. And the very first place here, the home, just gives you a little snapshot of what's coming up. So it's just showing me all of the tasks that I have due soon. And then it has down here what we call a favorite. So as you create projects or boards, you can star them, bookmark them, so to speak, so it shows up as a favorite for you. Now, coming down this list again over here on the left, if we click on My Task, this is the real power of Asana. What it does, based on the date of your task, it will move them up into either today, upcoming, or later. And upcoming, I think, is the next week's view. And then anything that falls out of that falls into the later category. So the beautiful thing about this, again, is you don't have to worry about moving things, you know, from one column to the next or anything else. Asana does it automatically, just based on whatever date that you have for that task. So I think that is awesome. And to keep you focused, you can just close up the upcoming and later, and then just focus on the things that you've got to do right now, today, or perhaps tomorrow. So that's under My Task. Again, it happens automatically. Now, coming down here, you can set up teams with Asana, and you can also have private areas that just you have access to, or maybe you and your VA, or you can set up certain projects or boards, and just you and your client have access to that. But I've created some boards here, and I'm just going to talk about these. And so basically, think about everything here in the left column. Think of them as projects. Now, I will say this, typically in the true project management sense of the word, projects are defined as a project because you have a beginning and an end. So what I'm going to show you, they don't necessarily have a beginning and an end, but it's ongoing mini tasks that once you complete it, then you can move that task off the board. It'll make more sense when we jump into it. So the first project that I'm going to show you is a board that I created just called To-Dos. This first column here is just called To Do Debbie. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Neat little hack that I've created using Zapier. Now, what I'm going to show you here is, remember I said my task up here will show up as today, next week, or later based on the date, the assigned date that I want to get that task done. In this board here, this is kind of my big view planning. And what I've done is I've created columns for every day of the week. And then I've created a column for next week, and then a column for next or this month, future. So a lot of productivity gurus talk about putting things in buckets to get it out of your mind, to close that loop. And, you know, are you going to work on it today, this week, this month, or future? Because we get all of these ideas going on in our head, and then, you know, we're working on stuff that we really shouldn't be working on for this day or this week. So what I'm showing you here is, and if you've taken my productivity program for entrepreneurs, it makes more sense what I'm going to say here, but I teach you how to plan the perfect week. And in that perfect week, you sit down and you decide your top 3 tasks for that day, and then you map out your week. So you might have, you know, 4 hours a day slotted for client work or maybe content creation, but then you have some, I'll just call them miscellaneous tasks. So for instance, I need to create a new cover for my private Facebook group, Systems to Scale Your Business. So I put it here on Monday. Now it's a minor task. It'll probably take me a half hour to do it. When I sit down Sunday night to plan my perfect week, I may realize, you know what, I have a big commitment coming up. I'm presenting at a virtual summit. I need to just focus on that Monday. So I just click this and I can just move it to Tuesday or Wednesday. I just look at my schedule and I realize, okay, I can put that off. It's not a do or die type of thing. So hopefully that makes sense what I do with this board or this project, so to speak. Now, what I want to show you is, remember I said I've got this column here and it has just all kinds of some miscellaneous things here. I'm going to hop over here to a new tab, and let me just, I'll just go to my website, for instance. So you're navigating the web, you're wherever, it doesn't matter where you're at. And so let's say on my website, I realize, oh, I need to update my productivity packages. And for real, I do need to update one of these links here. Instead of, you know, finding a scrap of piece of paper or leaving what I'm doing right now and jumping into another application, I have created what's known as a zap. So up here on my Chrome toolbar, there's kind of looks like a little flower. I'm going to click that, and it's saying, it gives me this option, create a to-do in Asana. So I'm just going to click on there and I can just type the information. So I'm just going to say, if I can type here, update productivity packages on website. And then I'm just going to click send. And then it takes it a minute, and then it said, get the little green. Now, let me show you the real power of that. I'm going to go back into my Asana and my to-do project here. If I come all the way down, usually it might take a second to show up. And I'm thinking, let me hide this here for a second. There you go. Now you can see it. Look down here, update productivity packages on website. So how slick was that? And I realize I really do need to get this fixed. So I'm just going to drag this over and put it into Monday's column. So let me demonstrate that again. Any place that I'm at, as long as I'm on my browser, I mean, I might get a phone call right now. And so I can just click my little button that I created, and I want to create a to-do. And I'm just going to say, call Liz on Monday. And then I'm going to click send. So it's a to-do list that is at your disposal anytime you're at your computer. And then I never have to worry about it because I come back here to my to-do board And right there it is. Call Liz on Monday. And so again, I could just move that little task card over here. So do you see how powerful Asana is? Because you can do so many things to automate. And this little zap that I created, I'm not going to be doing a training today on it, but it's done through Zapier. It was very easy to do. You don't have to know a lot of programming and stuff. And I'll do some training on that in the future. But anyway, I mean, is that cool or what? I just think it's an awesome thing. All right, let me just look at my notes. I want to make sure that I'm capturing everything here. Okay, so we talked about under your task, based on you setting up your due dates, it will show you what's due today, upcoming, and later. I showed you my little, now this, you could create something like to plan your quarterly goals. You could have your 5-year, 1-year quarterly goals, and each column could be that. And then you could just, I mean, you can use these boards for anything you want. It's very powerful. So now the next thing I want to show you is under, I've just named this, again, project, defined loosely. This is Facebook promotional opportunities is what I've named it. Now, most groups allow you to post information, whether it's freebies or market day, whatever it is. And it's, if you're like me, it's hard to keep up with all of this. And I have to admit, I don't do it as much as I should. But for instance, the group, the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Group, on Mondays, they have the hashtag Genius Tip. Tuesday is Market Day. Friday is the Freebie Day. Now, if you look over here, you can make assignments. Right now, these are just all assigned to me. I don't have to have an assignment. If it's just you, then obviously you know that it's your job to do. But then you'll notice here next to Monday, it's got the little circular arrows indicating that it is a repeating task. So I'm just going to open this up so you can see the details. So here, this is the project or the board that this is living under. And under this little heading called Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs, I have a note to myself to share my tech tip. If you follow me, you know that I used to call it Tech Tuesday. Now I just call it Tech Tip, where I just share some little technology tip. The other thing that I did, because again, you know, you can bookmark groups within Facebook or you can pin them, but there's a limit. So what I found was I was spending all this time trying to remember the name of the group that I wanted to post something in. So in this task, I've just put the group that I want to post on. And because I have a due date with this task, I set up a due date every Monday, and it's reoccurring. So remember up here on my task, every Monday or every getting close to that date, it's going to show up. And so here it is, Monday Genius Tip. And again, doesn't matter where I'm at, as long as I see that, when I click on it, then that shows me the details. And then once I've done that, I complete the task. And then the following Monday, it comes back again. So again, this board, I just created this thinking about the different Facebook groups that I like to participate in, but I want to make sure that I don't miss some of these opportunities to post either free content or things, you know, for market day. So that's another idea. Hopefully that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if it does. Now, the next thing that I want to show you, content production. Now, this is a beautiful way that you can semi-automate your content production, and especially if you have a VA or you have a team that works with you. So this is a little template that I created here. So basically, the first column, I always just call it start here. So if I have a team working with me, the first, it's not really a task, but it's a card giving them instructions on how to use this template or this work area. And then again, if I have a team working with me, this is where I would be sharing the different login information with that team member or individuals. If I was uploading things or wanted somebody else to upload things to my YouTube channel, then they would click here. And then the last thing I did, pillars of content, I'll click on that so you can see it. I'm just letting my team know that there's 4 areas of my business, what I call the CEO mindset, automation, productivity, and tech tools. And so I've color coded them so that when we look at the different views, we know that, okay, green is automation. And if I'm not creating enough automation, we could tell right away that there's hardly any green topics out there because we assign that tag to them. So that's what this first column is. Basically, it's just directions and instructions for any team members that's working with me. The second column that I created is all about brainstorming. So if I have an idea here, Zapier tech tips, for instance. So I know that maybe I want to create a training video, or maybe I want to write an article for my blog or LinkedIn, whatever it is. And I'm just going to put that below the picture there. And then again, this column is just used for brainstorming ideas. I can just put things there and I'm good to go. And then this column, how I've created this, and again, there's all different ways you could do it. You could create a column and name it different individuals on your team. So this could be the Debbie column, meaning these are all the content pieces that I'm working on. This is Betty's column. She's creating the graphics, and then so forth. Or you can just make the assignments. This little picture here, you can just make the assignment for whoever needs to be working on it. And then once they're done with it, they can assign it to somebody else. How I've set this up is, okay, this is the creation column. This means these are the articles or the content that we're working on right now. And I do have a YouTube channel, so maybe if I wanted somebody to do some editing on my videos, I would put it here, or editing in the sense of finding all of the graphics and the images and making it look really pretty, whatever it is. And then the next column here is uploading. And again, if I have a team working with me, every time you just kind of move things down the line. So once the editing is done, whoever's working on that moves it to the next column. And then now it's ready to be uploaded. And then the next column that I created was published. So I could, once that's published, I could just move it over here knowing it was published. And then sometimes you might want to repurpose it. So you could say, okay, I've created this Facebook Live, and now we're going to repurpose it, and we're going to pull out some content, make some quotes, or write an article, and then we have our finished column over there. So this is just one way. There's all different ways you could set this up. But again, the idea is to have some kind of a content creation board to help you come up with the ideas and kind of put it into the machine, so to speak, of creating that content and for it to go all the way down the line. Now, let me see here. The next thing I was going to show you is a client template. Oh, I didn't mention when we were in the Facebook promo opportunities, this looked different than this. This is what we call the board view. This is what we call the list view. You can go back and forth, but depending on how you're creating it, sometimes it just makes more sense to have it in list view. So now I'm going to hop over to the client template. Right now it's in list view, but I'm going to go back over to board view. So this is a template that I set up that you could just duplicate this whole board. And every time you have a new client, you would just name it for your client's name. And then this would be a board that you would share with your client. So you'd come up here, you would share it just with your client. And for instance, you might have some documentation, some contracts that are signed. You might have login information that you're sharing with them. And some of this stuff, maybe you're sending it to them in an email, but it's nice to have a repository. So they only have to think about coming to one place. So if they've lost their login, you could just train them by saying, get into your client board here, you'll find your login. You'll find what folder everything is shared on the Google Drive. Maybe you've come up with some commitments as far as when you're available, how you're going to communicate, things like that. Okay. And then have like an agenda, so to speak. And this is, notice it just says template. So if we click on that, here's the agenda items, and then maybe some standard things that you're going to talk about. And then as you're planning for the upcoming meeting, then you would start adding maybe some very specific subtasks that you're going to talk about. So you would just copy this task card and you would just name it, instead of agenda template, you would just say agenda and the upcoming date. And then each time you meet with them, you would create a new card. And so again, you're building a repository of all of those agendas, all of those to-dos basically that you're going to talk about. And then you might have a column here. I'm calling it project plan and details. So I create a project plan with my clients. So this is where the project plan would live. And then maybe there's some other documents that I share with them. Here's a task card just called decisions. So when I'm working with my clients, if there's certain decisions that they've made as we're working together. I'm an accountability coach. So if I hold their feet to the fire and say, okay, give me a date, we can document all of those. So again, you could set this up however you want. And then as you're working with your client, you might have some to-dos yourself and then to-dos for your client. And then again, based on your business, here, get my little mouse here to move. Here, it's just a, this would be if I was working on helping them build some landing pages. And then here's the designs of some of the back end stuff that we would be creating. Here's where I save their business map. And then just, again, different contracts or whatever. And then it's always nice to have the column that for your previous meetings, quick little summary, quick little wins. If you record those sessions, you could put the link to the recordings, all of that. So again, this is just an idea of how you could use Asana to manage all of your clients. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. So what I'm going to do now is let me stop sharing my screen. And I will bring my face back on camera so you can see me. What else was I going to tell you? So to wrap up, I guess, basically what I want to say is, so I've just shown you a few ways that you can use Asana to help you automate your business, to help you start building those systems around your business. There's all kinds of other things that you can do in Asana. Another great tip that I'll give you is within Asana, you can create a task and you can assign it to multiple projects. Well, why would you want to do that? What you could do is create a master project plan. So let's say you're working on building your membership course, and you're also working with a team to do your social media planning, all of that kind of stuff. As you create tasks, if it's like a major task, you could have that task show up on both of your boards or both of your projects. You don't have to worry about checking them off that they're both done or anything, because it basically is linked to both. So it's just a nice way to give you kind of a high level view of those major milestone tasks that you're working on. So that's one cool little tip. Another neat tip is you can assign or copy a task to multiple people. Not assign, but copy a task. So let's say, for instance, you've got, 3 people on your team. They all need to do the same thing. You can create that task and then just quickly copy it so that it's available for all 3 people. So instead of creating the whole thing and then copying it and doing all of that, it just happens all at once. So I love that. Another awesome thing, again, that I had mentioned with Asana is it's easy to duplicate. So you can duplicate the entire project, the entire board. You can make that into a template. So again, like that client template that I showed you, create a template and then just copy it basically for each of your new clients, and then you're good to go. And another very powerful aspect within Asana is you can use your email to automatically assign tasks to yourself. So let's say I get an email from the virtual summit organizer, and she says, hey, I need your headshot and your bio. I can take that email and forward it, and I'll put it in the show notes. There's just this standard email that you forward it to Asana. Asana knows who you are, and it will take that, whatever you've typed in your subject, it will take that subject and make that the task name. I mean, how awesome is that? And then any of the details of that email end up in like the body of that task. And if there are attachments to that email, those get carried over also. So, I mean, how many of you, if you're being honest with your inbox, you use your inbox kind of as your task manager, and you shouldn't. So just email all of these things, and you can type notes and you can do whatever, and then it will show up in your task list, and it will help keep you organized. And another awesome thing with Asana is you can select several tasks and then assign actions all at once. So let's say all of a sudden you've got a new VA on board working with you, and there's certain tasks that you do every Monday with your social media. You can select those tasks and automatically assign all of those tasks to your VA. Or you can change the due dates or do anything like that. So it just makes it very powerful and saves you a lot of time. There's so many keyboard shortcuts with Asana, and Control / inside of Asana will show you all of the shortcut keys. So you don't have to memorize them or anything. Again, just another quick little hack for you. So again, this isn't necessarily a training video about Asana, but I'm just showing you some of the ways that I use it, why I think it's an awesome tool. I will be doing some training in the future on Trello, because again, Trello has its place and everybody's different. What they like, what works well for them. The main key is you don't want to have, a dozen different tools, but you do need 1 or 2 tools in your back pocket to help you automate your business, to help you create some systems. Because if you're a serious entrepreneur, if you have that CEO mindset that you truly want to build a scalable, but more importantly, a sustainable business, you need to have automations and systems in place. And Asana is a great tool to help you do that. So I'd love to have you join the Facebook group if you're not already in the Facebook group. And I'd love to get on the phone with you just to take a quick look at your business and see if maybe there's some ways that we could get your business more automated. So just send me a direct message, reach out to me on the link, and let's chat. So thanks for watching. I hope this was useful. And I would love to hear some ways that you're using Asana. So put those in the comments also. Take care.